Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my Create with Jeannie Facebook page. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a fun set of cards that I created with the Flowering Cactus product medley. Let me just get set up here. All right. Now these are the cards that I'm going to be featuring. And I'm also going to show you this quick and easy little treat right here, which is going to be fun to make, filled with some goodies. All of the cards today are featuring product from the Flowering Cactus medley. It includes, let me just grab the catalog while we're waiting for some people to come on. Let's see, pull it over here first. So over here in the catalog, it's in our mini catalog. And it's on page 8 and 9. And you can see lots of samples that they've created right here for us. And then over on this side, it's going to tell us a little bit about the medley. This is the stamp set right here, the Flowering Cactus. It has coordinating dies, and then it has these really cute felt flowers here. So they just pop right out. There's all different shapes. They come in Calypso Coral and Highland Heather. And you're going to get four sheets of the Calypso Coral and 4 sheets of the Highland Heather. You're also going to get, close this up, scoot this over just a little bit, 48 sheets of designer series paper. Hi, Karen. So there's a lot of different ones. It's not just Cactus, which is really nice, so that if you want to do something with a designer series paper that isn't featuring the cactus, you're able to do that. One side has more of the flowery cactus and the other side is more of a simple print. So here are all of our sheets. Here we go. So that's a lot of designer series paper, 48 sheets. Now the bundle altogether, the medley, is $70, and it includes, as I said, the stamp set, the dies, 2 spools of linen thread, 1 Calypso Coral and 1 natural, and then 4 sheets each of the felt flowers. I'm going to show you one of the neat things that I really like about the die cuts is you have this 1 sheet of designer series paper, and these dies match up with it. So you're able to just die cut those out just like that. You've got the flowers like that. Let's see, I think there's the little flower right there. And then even the smaller flower over here. So you're able to die cut everything that's on there. But you're also then able to die cut the ones that are stamped. So these are stamped images also. So once you've used up all of your paper that has the die cuts, you're still going to be able to keep on stamping and die cutting with it. So that's pretty cool. All right, let me put these away. Now a couple other dies that are included in here. This one here is like a stitch looking one. And you can use that as a border background, and it's not going to cut. It's just going to leave that impression. And then you have this really fun cactus one, and I'm using that on a couple cards. Someone told me it also could be a pickle, so if you want to do something with a pickle, you could do that too. And then this is just a little decorative design, like a little splatter that you can do in your cardstock. All right, let me put these pieces away, and we can get stamping. Now I used a couple other die cuts for some of my labels in that, and so I'll be sharing those with you as we go along with the cards. I am going to be making 4 different cards, as I said, and the treat. So let me scoot these away and get started on our first one. This is going to be the first card here, and it's a simple card that's easy to cut and quick to make, which is what I really like. But it has that little bit of movement, so it looks like a lot of fun when you open it up. I think your customers or your friends would really like that. Okay. I'm going to pull my pieces here. Get them all out here. This is our pool party cardstock. Then I have some scraps here. We have our designer series paper. That's going to be on the card. And then we have our little label here. So this label right here is created with our Stitch So Sweetly dies. It's a really fun set. I love the scallop stitched rectangles, and then actually this other outer line label and this one with the 2 additional small ones there. So those are going to be some fun ones that we can create with. Here I die cut 2 of the cactuses, one in Mossy Meadow and one in Old Olive. All right, let's get started creating. Now, one thing I do want to let you know is that as you're watching me create these cards, you can get these cards for free. So I am doing a special, and that is that if you place an order with my host code, which I'm going to post up here in just a second, between now and the 8th of $35 or more, you're going to get the card kits for all 4 of these. Now, you won't get the product medley pieces, so the designer series and paper and that. But that's something that you could possibly add to your order, or you could change it up and use some other DSP and still use the same card layouts. So here we go. I'm just putting this designer series paper down. I love how it coordinates and works together, all the colors. There we go. So there is our card base there. And now let's go ahead and build on here. I cut 2, so I'd have an extra one if I messed up on my stamping. So I'm going to bring this in to do my stamping on here. Trying to keep my table not so messy. All right, I'm going to be using the black Stays On to stamp my sentiments. Open it up. Oops. And so for the top, on the outside, I said, the stamp says, life can get kind of prickly. And then on the inside, it says, I'm always here for you. So I'll go ahead and do the I'm always here for you first. There we go. Now I can set that, whoops, right up there. And then life gets kind of prickly. There we go. All right, now on the back end right here, I'm just going to pull in my everyday punch here. It's just going to just flag the end. What I like to do is put it in and then I turn it over and make sure that it's in there straight. So now I can pop that out and we're set to go on that. Move my black stamp pad aside. And now I'm going to bring my pull party in and I'm going to stamp the 2 small flowers. There we go, just like that. And then we're going to die cut those in just a second. Let me bring my die cut out right here. Hi Rhonda, thanks so much for joining. Okay, and then I'm going to take this color here is our gray granite. I don't use it a whole lot, but I really like it for things like this. And if you noticed in the card, there's like these little board lines right here, and they're kind of just, I like to think of them as like the ground or level so that our cactuses aren't floating in the air. So you can add a couple, you can add however many you'd really like on that one. So we have that. Then let's bring in some of our dimensionals here. I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this one. Plop that down. Scoot this up a little bit more so you can see better. And then I'm going to put my smaller one right there. And then take a couple dimensionals and add it to our sentiment. I think I want to snip off a little bit off this end, so I have a little bit too much room there. There we go. All right. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to scoot this away and I'm going to bring in my little mini die cut machine here. Now this is our smaller one. It holds 3 by 5.5 inches, which it definitely will die cut a lot of our different things. It doesn't do our large embossing folders or some of our larger full page ones, but it's definitely perfect just to plop on here and be able to die cut just these little flowers that I need without bringing out my big die cut machine. Hope it's not too bouncy on there. All right. Now we have our 2 little flowers. Let's set this back down. And then let's bring this back in here. So these 2 little flowers, I'm going to go ahead and use dimensionals for those 2. I think this one, I'm going to snip just a little one off the side here because I don't think I need the full one. And I didn't grab my mini dimensionals. So let's put one right there. And then we're going to pull one up to the side there. Next, I'm going to take some of my linen thread and I'm going to wrap it around twice. There we go. And then cut this off. And then I can just tie a bow right here. Hopefully I have that long enough. There we go. I think that looks good. All right, now we'll bring our card back. I'm going to flip this over and I want to center it. So if I look here, it goes about the middle of my scalloped rectangle. So I like to put those dimensionals on right away. So I make sure that I don't close my card up when I attach this. I'm going to give one more extra one in the middle just to kind of hold that secure. Get that straight. All right, there we go. So there is our card. Now I had some scraps, so I'm just going to share with you real quick what I'm going to do for my envelope. This piece I think is 2 by 6. I'm going to go ahead and just add some adhesive here on my card, or my envelope I should say. And then I'm going to lay this right on top. Now you notice there's that little piece of white there. Well, I'm just going to trim that off because it doesn't have to be a rounded envelope. It can be a squared off envelope. And with the cactus stamps that you have in your kit or the flowers, you could easily just add a few more onto the front of your card. So why not do that with my little pool party one that I had out earlier? Let's go ahead and add a few flowers on the front. Once you have the stuff out, you might as well kind of keep on going. Add some over there. All right. So now here we have our card in our matching envelope. I'll flip it over so you can see that they actually go in the right directions. I've done that before. I put them on upside down. All right, so that is our first card. Let's go on to our second card. This is one of my favorite quick and easy layouts for cards. We're using 3 pieces of the Designer Series paper. The base of our card is Highland Heather, and then we have some Old Olive here, and then this is textured with our Tasteful Textures embossing folder. All right, so we have our die that we cut out of the paper. Again, I have a piece I'm going to use for my envelope. Here is that white, our basic white with that Tasteful Textile embossing folder. I really like that texture. It's soft and it's there, but it's not too much. Let's see if Here's another one of the stitched dies from that Stitch So Sweetly. It's great. You have all these different sizes. I have my 3 different pieces of designer series paper, and you could really switch them, flip them over, really pretty much do whatever you would like with those. You don't have to stick to the direction that I did them in. But before we get started, the first thing I want to do is we're going to emboss our sentiment on here. So the sentiment says, "I love how our friendship has grown," right there. I'm going to take my Stamping Buddy and just kind of rub it to make sure that there's no static on there. Now I took several packs of or jars of our embossing powder. This is our white, and I put it in one of these little Rubbermaid tins here, which I really like. And I have a spoon to help me sprinkle it on. All right, so I am just going to put this right up here in the corner and then quickly come over and dust some of that embossing powder on. Now, if you're making a lot of cards, you want to do a stack of cards, you can stamp them with the Versamark, put the embossing powder on them, and then go on and do several more and then emboss them all at the same time. It's just important when you're doing embossing that you put the powder on it while your ink is still wet. You don't want it to dry on you. All right, it's going to get noisy for just a second. I'm going to go ahead and emboss this with my heat tool. It's getting all shiny, so you know it is just about done. There we go. All right, now let's put our card together. This card is going to go together super quick. We're going to go ahead and use our dimensionals, and we're going to pop up our cactus. All right, we're going to flip that over. Oops, one thing forgot. We need that little strip, our little ground or our line. We're going to put that on here also. So I am just going to put one there, and why not one here? There we go. Now we can put our cactus down. And now it doesn't seem like it is floating in the air. Let's add a couple of our felt flowers now. I'm going to use our glue dots. They're just quick and easy, especially when I'm doing this live. You can also use our multi-purpose glue, our fine tip glue. All of those things will work. Okay. So there we go. Now let's do our front piece. So I'm going to start on the top, add some adhesive on the back. Now I'm using our Stampin' Seal Plus, so that we have Stampin' Seal and Stampin' Seal Plus. The difference in the two is that our Stampin' Seal Plus is a little bit stronger. So if you notice, I'm just doing little dabs. One of the things that's really neat about this one is that it holds really securely, so you're not going to need to use as much adhesive. The other thing I found is because it has, I don't think you can see it on the camera, but it actually has little strips. I don't think you can see that, but it's like 1/8 of an inch. And what I've found is that if you make a mistake and you need to fix it or pull it off, they kind of, you can just rub your finger or you can use one of the gum erasers and it comes off super, super easy. So I like that when you have adhesive and it's easy to remove if you need to, because, you know, we all make mistakes. We all put things a little crooked. We all do things like that. So it's nice that we're able to take care of that and not make a big mess. Okay, I really didn't need a dozen of these, but okay. There we go. Hi, Juanita. How you doing? Thank you for joining today. Now, anyone that shares this with their friends is going to go into a drawing, and next week on my Facebook Live, I will draw a winner, and you're going to get a gift from me. So if you have anyone you think would like to watch, just go ahead and share this link, and then you'll be entered into the drawing. All right, on this one I'm using the natural linen thread. So let's go ahead and cut this off right here. Linen thread is probably one of my favorites, and my second is when they go and add it in colors, like in this kit with the Calypso Coral. I really, really love that. Now the Flowering Cactus is from our mini catalog, which goes through June 30th. And as things go and sell out, this may not be available. This will not be in our catalog that's coming out on May 4th. On May 4th. But because it is in our mini catalog, it will be good through approximately June 30th. One of the things I really do like about these medleys is that you have the actual medley, which comes with the stamp set and the dies that I showed you. But your refill kit is going to give you the linen thread. It's going to give you all the designer series paper and those felt flowers. There you go. All right, so that is our card number 2. But let me go ahead and do the envelope on this one. This one I'm not going to add anything to the front. Oops, get it started there. This scrap was a little bit bigger, so I'm going to be able to do it all the way to the rounded edge. And if you notice, I have a little bit that showed through there, so I am just going to take this and rub that off. There we go. Flip that over and I can trim that off. I don't know about you, but it's just as exciting to get mail, I think, when the envelopes are decorated. So whether you're stamping or you're adding designer series paper, just adding a little bit to that flap makes all the difference when you mail it out. So here is our second card. All right. Let me see, I'm going to move that card away and let's move on to our third card. This is another easy, quick, fun fold. I really like this. The base is just a single layer and it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let me get those pieces out there. All right. Here's my piece for the envelope. Set that aside. This one has a lot of pieces, but mostly they're dies, so it's not that we have a lot to work with or to cut or stamp. This is some of the designer series paper, and my card base on this one is Calypso Coral. I'm just going to attach this to the edge, just like that. And then this piece here is just, it opens up, so it's a little card that's going to go on top. And it is 2 3/4, I believe, by 8 1/2. And we're going to go ahead and adhere that down. Now with the card kit, if you're going to make a purchase, you are going to get all the dimensions. And then you can come back and follow along with the Facebook Live and you can create your cards. I'm going to add this designer series paper to the front. One of the things that's hard when you cut your designer series paper is that sometimes you have to cover up something that you really like. And I really didn't want to cut up those cactuses, but I really like this paper and I thought it went really well. All right, where did my, there it is. Okay, so I am going to take a little bit longer piece this time. I hope I'm guesstimating right. I may have a lot of extra left, but I'm going to double it this time, and I'm just going to tie a bow at the top here. Whoops, got tangled up. I think I might have guessed pretty well on this one. Now, sometimes I have a hard time when it's curling up a lot. So one of the things I can do, as I've done, is I've taken a little glue dot and I just put it right down on my paper. And then when I cross over my linen thread, I can just push that down. Now it's going to stay right there for me. I'm going to go ahead and cut those ends, and now I can tie my bow. It's a lot easier to handle it when it's not moving all over the place. All right. Next, let's do the inside. And I did cut out one of the little double flowers from the designer series paper. I'm just going to put that on the inside. We can open this up. That way when you write your little message, sentiment, thank you, whatever you're going to do on this one, you have a nice white spot to be able to do that with. All right, now we have our cactuses and we have our stitched shape here. These die cuts are probably one of my favorites, and it's going to be so sad they're going away. So these are retiring. If you don't have circles, ovals, and squares, this is a set you want to make sure that you get as soon as possible. There's 4 different sizes of each one, but it gives you a basic overall. You have squares, you have the ovals, and you have the circles, and those are the main shapes that are just great to have. It is retiring, and our new catalog, as I said, starts May 4th, and May 3rd is the last day of our annual catalog, which will be here before we know it. This month is going to be going by fast. All right, so I just went ahead and stamped my sentiment in Stays On. Now you can use Stays On, or you can use our Memento, whatever black ink that you have. Either one of them is going to be fine. All right, I'm going to bring back in my gray granite and my little lines here again. These lines are kind of coming in handy. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that you could do with them to add little accents, but they work perfect for this. All right, now let's go ahead and adhere these. Now the larger one here, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on it, and it's going to hang off the side a little bit. So you want to make sure when you put the adhesive, you only do it on this side because you don't want adhesive to be right there. Now my smaller one, I am going to use dimensionals, and I'm going to pop that up. I like to kind of add one in these areas that are smaller because I don't want them to squish down when the card is sent in the mail. I want it to stay popped up. So sometimes I add a few extra dimensionals. All right, we're just gonna plop that on there, kind of hanging off the bottom. And then let's add a couple more flowers on here. There's one. Maybe I should add the coral one too. Mix it up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to bring my card back in. Now this is going to go on top like this. This can hang over the edge, but you just want to make sure it doesn't go past your card base. So I'm going to flip that over. Grab those dimensionals again. And I know it's going to be hanging off this edge about 1 inch, so I'm making sure again that I don't have dimensionals or adhesive on that side. All right. There we go. One of the things I like about this layout is I could easily have turned it and had it go this way. Let's see if I can lift this up a little bit just to show you. I don't think I pushed it down too hard. So I could put this down right here. I'm not going to press, but you can put it and turn it that way too. But you could also come back and turn it up here and had it on the other side. But there's just, you can rotate this and turn it and do so many different things. It's a little bit easier when your designer series paper isn't a one direction. So for this card, I think it really needs to go up and down this way. But if this paper back here was not like a single direction, then you could. All right, so there's that part. And then let's just add another little flap. when you are using the designer series paper, especially I think when it's 6 by 6, I find that I come up, or I end up with extra pieces or strips of paper. So what better thing to do than to use it for our envelopes? I'm not sure if you are, but I know a lot of my friends are paper hoarders. It's like when you get designer series paper, you love it so much you don't want to use it. Well, I love using my designer series paper, and I want to use it all up because then I don't feel bad or guilty when I want to get some new paper. So use it up. Use it on your envelopes. Use it anywhere you can. All right, so that is our number 3 card. All right, let's bring in our last card, and it is this one right here. This one is using the designer series paper as our front, which is pretty fun. And let's get our pieces. Now, one thing you'll notice, the cardstock, I think I'm using, let's see, 4 different colors. I have Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Calypso Coral, Highland Heather, and Basic White. So those are the cards, that is the cardstock that I am using, and Pool Party. All the other pieces, all the other prints and all of that, they all come from that product Medley. So it's definitely a great investment to purchase that product Medley. You're going to get so much in that. We're going to do a little bit of stamping first. And on this one, I'm going to do a couple flowers on the inside. Now the flowers I'm using is a little double flower. It's different than the one I used earlier, but it is the same as the image that is right here that we die cut out of the paper. So as you can see, you can die cut it out of the paper, or we have the stamp that you can actually go ahead and stamp it also. And then if you wanted to, you could die cut that also. All right, I'm going to set that aside for 1 second, and then let me bring in our label here. This is just a small little cactus. I think you could add it easily to the side of one of the cactuses, but I kind of just used it as a little border right there. It doesn't have a lot, but just something to fill in at the bottom. And then my sentiment is you're a rare, you are a rare find, my dear friend. So there's a real variety of sentiments in this stamp set. You can easily just add other sentiments too if you wanted something different that wasn't cactus themed. There you go. I think this would be good if you had a stamp set with diamonds on it for being a rare find too. So there's lots of different things that you can do with that. All right, let's bring in our tall cactus here again. Get my ink going there. And I'm just going to have that come off the side. And then my smaller one, we're going to use those dimensionals again. One in there, one in there. Now this is going to, oops, sticking to my finger. It's going to hang off the side just a little bit, or off the bottom. And then I'm going to bring in a couple more flowers, which means I need my glue dots again. There we go. Now on my glue dots, I like to tie a ribbon around. Whoops, everything went flying there. I like to tie a ribbon around, and I just tie it in a loose knot. And then I can pull back this tab and my glue dots are right there. I don't have this long string hanging, and I'm not sticking glue dots to anything that sets down. So this is just a quick, easy trip. It's probably about 6 or 7 inches, and you just tie it right around and tie a little knot. It's a great way to use your glue dots. Okay, let's flip this over. Now we're going to add 5 more dimensionals. All right. So earlier I told you that one of my favorite dies was the stitched ones, which are these. Now we're using the layering circles. Now this set is going to be staying in our new catalog, which is awesome. And what it has is it has the scalloped, and then it also has a round ones that coordinate. So for every round one like this, you're going to find a scallop one. But you can also use the stitched ones on here too. So like this one would go right on there. So they coordinate together. And I lost my image because it's stuck to the back of the die cuts. All right. Just gonna center that on there like that. And now let's put our card together. So this is our basic white, and it's going to go on top of a piece of old olive, just like that. And then I'm going to put it in my card base, which is our mossy meadow. I really like how the 2 different greens go there. Next, I'm going to take this piece here and match it up with that old olive. So this is our designer series paper. I'm just going to lay it down in there. And then I'm going to put a strip. I'm doing a little bit more on here of adhesive, and then I'm going to fold this over. There we go. So now we have our front. And I think when my things went fly, oh, there it is right in front of me. I couldn't see that. I'm going to go ahead and add this little strip, just a 1-inch strip of designer series paper. I'm going to lay it down right there. And then let's bring in our linen thread. Now, if you're making a lot of cards with this set, you might not want to double up your linen thread, but I really like doing it. The linen thread that is this natural color, it's one of our regular products. So if you do use it up, you can always order another roll of that one. We don't have the Calypso Coral, but we do have that one. So let's put my glue dot down there again. Press down my linen thread. Let's see. All right, that's a little squiggly on there. And now we're going to bring this in. Kind of decide how far over we want it to go. Just straighten my cord there. And now I can put dimensionals on the whole back because it's not hanging over any edges. It's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to add 5 more dimensionals. It's amazing how many dimensionals you use when you do a bunch of cards. All right, and then I'm just going to slide that in right there. There we go. Let's bring our envelope back because, of course, we're decorating all our envelopes today. Another scrap. This one, again, is just the 2 inches, so we are not going to go all the way to the edge with our adhesive. There we go. Oops, turn it this way so I can see a little bit better. These paper snips are one of my favorite tools. They are so sharp and they just cut through paper wonderfully. I do like to have a separate pair that I only use for my ribbons because they do get sticky if you are cutting things other than paper. But there we go. Here's our next one. All right, we are on to our last project. This is just a fun little treat. The saying says happy looks good on you, but this could easily be made into like a happy Easter treat. It'd be great for a birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, something like that. You can change that up and do a lot with it. I like using it when I have 6x6 paper. because we're just going to fold this. We don't need to score it. We don't need to do anything. It's just going to be folded. All right, I'm going to use 2 punches. This one here is our postage stamp punch. Set that aside. And then we're going to stamp the sentiment, and then we're going to use our classic label. Now the classic label punch is going away. What I'm going to share with you right now is one of the things I use my classic label punch for more than anything at all. So many of our sentiments are this nice width right here. And sometimes it's really hard to cut them. So you can do a couple things when you're doing those. You can have a stash of scraps and you could stamp it on there, which I have that too. Or you can take the classic label punch and slide it in. And I've got to do a little trick. I made my paper's a little too small, so I am just going to put a handle on my scrap piece of paper. It's just a Post-it note. And now I can slide this in and get my sentiment right there in the middle. Oops. And give it a punch. There we go. All right, let's bring those dimensionals in. This time I'm going to be using the edge again. So when I use this little bottom part here, I'm just going to snip it with my sticky scissors. Whoops. And then flip this over. I might have done it too long, but let's see. Nope, just perfect. All right. Going to put that right across the bottom. I think that fits well there. And then we need a couple flowers, so I am going to just grab a couple flowers that I have here. Let's see. Yep, I guess I can do that. That'll work. Let's get my glue dots here. Put one in the middle and then one on each side. I haven't counted how many felt flowers are on each one, but I want to say probably like 25 or something. So you're getting probably 100 at least flowers that you can not only use just on this set, but you can also use them on other things. All right, let's get going. We have our designer series paper, and I know when I fold it, I want my cactuses to go the right direction. So I am going to turn this over, and I'm going to add adhesive. This is our tear and tape around 3 of the sides. Tear and tape is super strong. And I think I just put it on the wrong side. Let's see. I did. I have an extra one. Well, this one's going to have 4. One of them I'm not going to use, but it's going to be inside, so it won't matter. All right, so we should have had it on these 2 sides and then like along the top here or the bottom, not both. So I'm just going to pull the one off. There we go. And I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to roll it and then press it together like that. Okay. Then I can take my bone folder and I'm going to crease those 2 sides. Next, I'm going to fold over about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch, and press that again. We're going to do that to the top. I love when you can make a treat and you don't have to score a lot, you don't have to measure. We're just taking a 6x6 piece of designer series paper and folding. So now let's open that up and turn it over. And then I pop my fingers on both ends and I'm going to tuck that in. So where that is, I'm going to make a little gusset, you might call it. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now, if you guys are meeting with family or friends for Easter, this would be a great project you could do really quick and make a couple cute treats. All right, I am going to take my Take Your Pick tool and pick off that paper from my tear and tape. Let's see if I can get it there. There we go. I just needed to get one end in. My fingers don't get inside there quite as easy. All right, so we're going to press the one end. And I like to go over it even with my bone folder just to make sure that that adhesive is really getting in there good. Now I just grabbed some Easter cans, some little eggs. Jelly bean eggs, there we go. And now we're gonna pick off the other side without it spilling. That's probably the hardest part, because I could see me tipping this and all of my candy going flying across my table. All right. So there we go. Let's use that bone folder again. There we go. And I'm going to use that Calypso Coral Baker's Twine. Whoops. And mine did kind of get wound a little bit, so I have a little bit of a tangled mess, but that's okay. I'm going to wrap it around twice. I think on my sample I only did it once, but I wanted a little bit more. Whoops. All right, there we go. Let's grab another glue dot. Kind of fold it a little bit. Sometimes people call these like snot dots. Just a spot of guck, but it sure does stick good, and that's what we want. All right, there we go. And now on our little label here, I'm just going to put several dimensionals to hold that in place. There we go. Isn't that cute? All right, let me bring back in the cards that we did. There we go. Get them all in here. Let's turn that one and turn that one there. And it looks like we might have them all in the camera. Okay. So those are some fun projects that you can create using the Flowering Cactus product medley. Now, as I said, the product medley, which includes the stamp set, the dies, 48 sheets of paper, over 100 felt flowers, and then 2 spools of linen thread, is $70. So it is a really good value for that. You can also get the refill kit, which comes with all the paper product, felt, and the linen thread, just not the stamp set and the dies, for $36. So I do think it's a great value. It is going away, so if it's something that you like, now's a great time to purchase it. The special I have running right now is if you place a $35 order between now and the 8th using this host code right here, you are going to receive the card kits to make all of these. The one thing that's not included is the product from the product medley, since you only get so much in there, but you will get all the dies cut out and everything ready to go. So I hope you like the projects. Next week, I think I am going to be doing a little bit with the Stamparatus, so doing just some tips and tricks of things that I really enjoy doing with that. I hope you enjoyed today's Facebook Live, and I hope that you will share it with your friends, family, and anyone that's a paper crafter that you think might enjoy it. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.